So for a review today, I want to remind you that your body mind is a part of a much larger, comprehensive, integrated whole, just as your awareness is. And at a certain level of awareness, all subject-object distinctions just fall away. And they're understood to be merely for the sake of convenience, for the sake of convention, for the sake of communication. But for most of us, who have become identified with our bodies and the seeming things that seem to go on around us in the external world, this assumption of separation has become default, right? You are seen as separate from me, which must be the case because you're here, I'm there, and your awareness is wrapped around or entangled, if you will, by the idea of the physical body-mind, by that which we identify ourselves with. So a belief in separation and lack is the root cause of most of our suffering, anxiety, and fear. And this gets turned into a dense personality construct that constitutes the person for most of us. Now, the more clearly we dissect what is true and what is not true. For example, I'm a person in the world with these beliefs about the way the world works, and there's bricks and there's buildings, and I have cells and ideas and hopes. The more we observe and understand this, the more effortless it becomes to rest not as a person, with these preferences, but as a much larger presence that is aware of it. So as you investigate your body to build a deeper relationship to the focal point of your awareness in this seeming reality, through even such things as how to stretch properly with awareness, you can begin to start seeing the body not as something to be lived with and just adhered to, or even say as a shell carrying around a higher consciousness that is the quote-unquote real you. Instead, the body becomes more like a portal or a gateway or a vehicle, a means by which you can reveal greater understanding and understand that your inner light shines through more and more, pervading all aspects of your life. Now, through tracing this process at play in yourself, in your day-to-day life, and then demonstrating its validity to yourself over and over and over again until it becomes your experiential reality, you begin to turn an unconscious process into one that you can then actively observe and influence. You've shined the light of conscious awareness onto that which was hidden. By positively reinforcing the recognition of a negative emotion. Or say again, you will more readily notice the next time your conditioning shows up, thereby decreasing recovery time, form injuries, and when applied internally to your perceived attitudes and habits and beliefs, reveal those for they are. And two, you will open an inner dialogue that will automatically shift you from I have adopted a point of view to I choose this point of view. Now, put together, this is a multi-layered process. You can start to see that the belief structures around which your perception is built is, usually they're nested together in this like matryoshka doll of a belief system that are contradictory in the most exquisite ways. Now, during the practice of yoga, while you're moving, interacting with the subtler aspects of your body, especially during injury recovery and trauma management or engagement, this process becomes increasingly clear and vibrant. Now, remember, your body-mind is a vehicle. It's a miracle. It's this marvelous machine. It's not a threat. It's not something to be like bashed and battered into submission. The same thing with the mind. This conflicts though with a lot of commonly held beliefs about the mind, about the body, in certain spiritual and therapeutic circles. So positive reinforcement is how we learn. It's how we train the brain, consciously or otherwise. And regardless of how much you wanna believe you're more than just your body, which is the case, and everyone should at least consider that for the moment. Regardless of how much you may disidentify with the body, it still pays to pay attention to it. Now, if you still want to believe that there is an objective universe out there, right, beyond you, beyond your perception of it, your awareness of it, if you still want to believe that there is an external world that exists independent of you and of your perception of it, if you still want to keep yourself limited to this idea, this belief of I am such and such amount of cells and bones, and I have these, and this is all I am, and maybe some brain goop somewhere. If you still want to believe that you are somehow independent from all of this and unable to be anything more than what you already are, what you've already assumed yourself to be, and that the world is exactly the way you've always thought it to be, and it will never be any different, that's entirely up to you. Now, looking beyond the body and towards that fundamental principle of aliveness, paying attention to the innermost sense of me that exists independent of any thought about it, while living life, while practicing the asana sequences, this greatly accelerates the path of self-growth and expansion, of recovery, of healing, because the same mechanisms, the exact same mechanisms that the body-mind accesses when running a body scan, releasing tension while in a position, these are the same exact mechanisms used when focused internally on your perceptions, on your perceived barriers, on your obstacles and the hiccups, and all the petty frustrations of a life of victimization and lack. In other words, my friend, in other words, where was I? In other words, developing an asana practice supercharges the processes of both the paths of self-realization and self-actualization, the twin paths of awakening and empowerment. Remember, to the true master, everything is a tool. Take what works, discard the rest. If you want to be a king, you must act like a king or a queen. Whatever your preference. So for homework today, I want you to pay attention to how you move. That's it. Next time you lean forward to grab a cup of water, next time you turn your head to answer a question. Whatever it is you do with your life, right? You're moving your body. Now I've yet to meet a completely static consciousness that did not move at this little plane of reality. So there is no movement that does not use these parts of your body. Now let's just limit these to this like what I'm saying to the everyday experience of being a human in civilized society. Not bringing niche cases like acrobats or ballerinas. This would be a totally different course. Were they my intended audience? I'm trying to talk to just the everyday average Joe here. So bearing in mind that I expect you to be, and I think this is a reasonable expectation. I expect you to be a reasonably intelligent, self-dedicated individual with at least your own fair share of discipline, experience, and interest in the world and in your own growth and expansion. Look, your body will do these movements throughout the day in one form or another. And what I want you to be absolutely clear on, experientially, in your own life, in your own mind, in your own psyche, is to see in everyday life, in action, just through directly engaging with your experience of life, how you move. Make this conscious. Become aware of your own experience of being alive in the world and how your body is just this core part of that reality. And in this way, you will start to be able to understand all the little nuances that happen, how much energy you might be wasting when you're just picking up this random thing. Instead, try and just pick things up or engage in the lowest energy possible without all this wasted, conditioned movement. When someone looks at you or someone startles you, you actually don't have to be startled. You can just respond and be like, "Oh, hi. That was a loud noise." But you don't need to be like doing this and getting your nervous system all jacked up. It's okay. And now it's not saying it's not going to happen. That's what the conditioned responses are for. And some of these are so deep, so deep. These are all the way back when we were like little monkeys and shrews. And getting programmed with just instinct and the pleasure-pain principle. But we're intelligent, sentient creatures now. We can take the reins of our own conscious experience in hand and start to reflect ourselves, and not just reflect ourselves, but understand truly what it is that we are. Delve deeply and investigate into the very nature of our experience. And that, my friend, that's science right there. Delving deeply into what is true and what is not true. Forming an idea, testing that idea through everyday immediate experience, and becoming a true investigator, a true scientist with regards to your own life, being curious, being expansive, and looking to grow, share, learn, expand. So, my friend, I want you to truly start making this everyday experience, which is so beautiful, so marvelous. It's such a miracle. Just part of your conscious experience. And spend less time worrying about, and thereby you just spend less time worrying about all the rest of it. Now, if it's painful because there's some sort of chronic pain or nerve pain, then that's a little wonderful thing too, because you can say, oh, you know what? The body is feeling a lot of pain right now. My mind is having a lot of thoughts, and I am aware of both of these. I'm aware of the body feeling pain. Now, when you're aware of a thing, you are immediately free of it, because, you are not that thing. Right? I'm looking at a chair right now. I'm I'm obviously not, my nervous system is not part of that chair. I'm aware of this thing though, I'm seeing it. So this is a powerful little method. I won't go into it too much right now. It's a little bit more of an advanced teaching. But just notice that you can give pain and struggle and striving and all tension. You can give it back to the body to which it belongs, whether it's the mental body, whether it's the physical, food body, this accumulation of cells and food and earth. So, my friend, just pay attention. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Thank you very much for caring about yourself, caring about your life. I'll see you next time. I love you until we meet again. And then after that.